Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. You know what? This episode was mixed for me. It was mixed because some things got revealed and that was interesting. I think like maybe one thing, but it was pretty interesting. And it was something that was bothering me for a while, and that is Spinelli. Spinelli has been dodgy and cagey for quite a while, and I could not understand why. Okay, so he made a dating site. Okay, cool. So why aren't you telling your friends? Even if you told your friends, you know what, listen, if it was me, people probably won't want to join, but if I have somebody else being the face of that, people may want to join. Cool. One second. I would get it, but his friends would understand, so why he was being so cagey and not saying anything was annoying after a while. But when I found out the real reason why this man has been why he's been lying to his friends for so long, why he was paying Cody to keep his mouth shut. Which, I mean, in all honesty, even when I found out, I was like, that's not the best course of action. Because once somebody blackmails you once, they're going to keep doing it over and over and over again because they know that they can. And Spinelli, I feel like, is a lot smarter to realize something like that. So why even bother to give him an inch? But what he's doing, I mean, he wasn't just doing data collecting on the people that signed up. He was doing data collecting on unsuspecting people to get the information that he got. And I'm like, that's something that the feds would be pretty interested to find out. But he comes up, he starts talking to Britain. He's like, oh, you can't go out with him, this, that, and the third. But you're not saying why. Do you not know how Brit is? Do you not understand that this woman, even though she's a little more nicer than she was back then, she doesn't have patience for that. So at some point, Cody, because Cody was sitting there talking to Sam and Maxie was like, "Oh, it's got to be nice to Spinelli because he's sensitive and he was looking at you for some odd reason." I was like, "Whoa, why does he have to be nice to Spinelli? You need to be asking Spinelli why is he looking at him for? Like, why is he looking at him side?" I really didn't understand. It was almost like Smith was saying, "Well, he must have done something." I was like, "What did he do? He wore a certain color or something? What did he do?" But he was like, listen, I'll straighten this out. He sees Spinelli talking to Britt. Okay, so yeah, hey, what's going on or whatever, and then eventually everyone starts to gather around, and Cody's like, "Oh well, listen, why don't you sit there and tell me what it is?" And he's like, "Oh well, you have the hots for Britt." So everyone is that they're looking around. Even Britt is like, what? So Cody brings him, I guess, into the Metro Court or whatever. And, he tells them, he tells everyone why he's been so hush hush about it. So, at this point, he's like, yeah, listen, you can either play ball, you can do two things. You can tell them the truth, and you can definitely go to jail because, what you did is illegal. And I'm just like, bro, this is a guy who's been working with Jason, Sonny's organization for years. And granted, he slipped up once when that other hacker was able to get into his computer. Okay? That was a mistake, but it was a mistake you would sit there and think you would learn from as far as not getting caught doing, out there, being dirty. And yet somehow, this buffoon caught you slipping. And I'm just like, bro, what on earth made you thought? Like, I don't understand. I know he probably wanted to create the perfect dating site, but he had to understand at some point doing something that illegal. So I don't understand. Like, And granted, he's worked with Sonny and Brick and stuff like that to kind of help him out. So it's not like he's squeaky clean, but like making a jump like that, I'm like, bro, I should just be working with Sonny full time rather than going out there committing your own crimes or whatever. Like, what do you? In some ways, it seems kind of out of character in a weird way. I mean, I know he's worked with Sonny and done some illegal stuff before, but like for some odd reason, this just seems kind of out of character in some ways. I know it's hard for me to explain, but for him to sit there and make a leap like that, just it's not really adding up. But fine, we got the reveal, and it's something I can work with. So I definitely want to sit. I would definitely want to see where that's going, and I'm actually excited to sit there and find out where it's going because up until this point, Spinelli has just been annoying the living hell out of me, especially acting the way he's been acting without context. That's something that it took way too long to sit there and find out. I'm glad we found it out, but I mean, come on, bro. Like, really? I've only been sitting there doing whatever this crap is. Um, Now I'm actually sitting there talking to Sam, trying to change the subject or whatever. Because they're going back and forth, like, oh, why didn't you know about this? Why didn't you know about this? Whatever, about Spinelli. And then Maxie asked about Dante and everything like that, about them moving in. And, when she was like, oh, well, Dante asked, to move in or whatever, for us to live together. And Maxie says some offhand comment about, oh, well, Lulu, this, that, and the third. And I'm just like, why would you even bring that up for her? Like, why would you even bring up Lulu? Like, I get that she's Lulu's friend, and it just, like she said, it means, one more day of Dante getting close to Sam and further away from Lulu. But I'm like, you were also Sam's friend, and I can't remember which, but I could have swore. I could have swore Maxie was Sam's friend before she was Lulu's friend. And regardless of who came first, you're still Sam's friend. Why would you even bring that up for? And she tries to make it seem like this oops ditzy thing, but it was like, no, that wasn't ditzy. That was just how you felt. The hell is wrong with you? But also, from what somebody told me, that there's rumors that Lulu is going to be coming back, played by a different actress. So, it's sort of what DC said. You got to sit there and pay attention to the writing. Because they do give you clues, and that was definitely one big red flag because that just seemed like that literally came out of nowhere. Um, which I don't know what the hell Sam is doing, but Sam did say one thing to Britt that I was like, I'm glad that somebody said it. When Sam was like, "Listen, if you're gonna give Cody a chance, then either give him a chance or practically tell him to kick rocks." But this back and forth BS, like it's not cool. Also feel like she should kind of take her own advice as far as like if she wants to move forward with Dante, if she wants to do that, she should do that instead of being like, oh, I don't know, everything's so good. It's like she should kind of take her own advice. But I gave her a pass because she's right about the whole Cody situation. Now, talk about Sunny and so yeah, talking about those two, it was actually really nice seeing Christina again. Um, and you got to sit there and find out her feelings about Nina. And, even though she didn't like what Nina did, she's done some really questionable things in the past, and she's not in a position to sit there and be judging other people on their mistakes. And that's something I can sit there and respect about her. I can respect her a whole lot more than I can that blonde idiot, Joss. I get her anger, but like, there's a lot of times she starts judging people, and I'm like, sweetheart, you're barely 18. You didn't even get a chance to live. And so anyway, it was nice to sit there and see Christina's take on the whole thing. Um, I can't really think of anything else that actually happened between those two besides that. That was, I mean, like I said, they didn't really do anything too interesting, but it was nice to sit there and see her take on the situation. Now, when it comes towards Nina, Nina had some celebrity chef. I don't know if she's a real celebrity or not. They made a point of really kind of making a scene about that. I didn't get it, so it went over my head. But if you got it, that's cool. After that, talk to um, Obrick. And I'm not going to lie, a little bit of their talk was kind of annoying. Specifically when she got to the Carly situation, when she was like, oh, well, Sonny made it a point of, it's always going to be three of us, like it's always going to be three of us in a relationship or whatever because, they have kids together and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, they do have kids together. So it is always going to be, like Carly is always going to be in her life. So having her sit there and bitch with Ulbrich about how Carly is going to be a mainstay in her life was just, it was so stupid on so many levels. And when you really think about this whole relationship and this back and forth, because now they're in this whole limbo thing where it's like they don't know if they want to be in a relationship. I mean, it's like I don't really understand what are y'all doing. And then she sees him and she starts smiling, and I'm just like, oh my goodness. I mean, between that and the whole pen that or the whole gift that is like a knife or whatever, I'm just like, what is that supposed to mean? Is that like a metaphor for something? I mean, Ulbrich, you know what Sonny does. Okay, you've been with dangerous men before, and I get that you want to sit there and protect your niece, but you're either going to protect your niece or you're going to sit there and be like, hey, just kind of embrace it. You know, like it's one of those things where it's like I feel like if something happened later on throughout these episodes, and Nina's kind of caught in the crossfire, Ulbrich would be the first person to gun it for Sonny, but yet you didn't really have much hesitation allowing that to happen. It didn't really say too much before this whole situation, before whatever could happen would happen, if that makes any sense. I don't know what the hell is going on with Brooklyn and Chase at this point. I know that they're trying something, and they've been trying this for like a good year and change. Will they? Won't they? Will they? Won't they? Will they? Won't they? I can't imagine. See, because I don't do the whole coupling things and chemistry or whatever. I don't. I don't do that. I don't do that. And looking at scenes like that, I mean, I'm kind of glad because while you got Dante and they're trying to talk sense into Brooklyn, like, hey, listen, I don't know what's going on with you, what kind of scheme you got going on, but this dude that they're trying to get his badge back, like he can't be getting caught up in your little crap that you got going on. You need to think about him before you start thinking about yourself because he's always going to think about you first. Now, I thought that Link caught on the chase. I sat there on Friday. I was like, okay, so he caught on to the little game or whatever, but he didn't, and it made it seem like that on Friday. And then Monday happens, and he's all like, "Oh, well, Brooklyn's, all about her feelings and everything like that. And she has a thing for you, but with me, it's just business. So that's why you should sign on with me." And I'm like, bro, you made it seem like he caught on to you, like he caught on to him before, but now you're sitting there talking about why he should sign up for. God, oh my God, okay. So he just goes on and on and on and prattles on and on about how Brooklyn wears her heart on her sleeve and blah, blah, blah. The usual slimy crap. And then, of course, Brooklyn comes in and Brooklyn's like, hey, we need to stop doing this as far as like we need to give up the charade. If you want out, just say you want out. Chase is like, no, we're going to sit there and keep doing this. We're going to just keep this smoke rack, this whole thing just. I was trying to use a metaphor that didn't work. But more or less, Chase was like, "We're gonna keep doing this. Yeah, we're gonna keep doing this." And if I remember, I'll say the metaphor towards the end of the video. But he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna keep doing this." So she was like, "Yeah, okay." And Link left, and then they started holding each other. It looked like they were gonna kiss, but then Brooklyn once again was like, "Hey, so we're gonna take him down." And I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't care. There was a point. I do remember that there was a point that I actually cared because I did like their back and forth and their banter and everything like that, and the way their personalities bounced off each other. I thought it was great. There was a point that I actually did care. And then they just kept going this back and forth route, and well, months later, which is really sad to say, months later they're still doing whatever that is. And I don't really know who's actually invested in these two people at this point. And if you are invested, please tell me why. Because maybe it's something that I'm clearly not seeing. I don't know what the hell that is, but clearly I'm not seeing it. So if you know, please let me know. So Dax has a meeting with Michael and tells him like, "Hey, listen, I got Sonny in a perfect position. Jerry tampering." Talked about the whole Trina trial. Now at this point, Michael's like, "Yeah, I can't do that." Because it's like, "Yo, listen, this is what you need to get your father sent away." But it's like, I can't do that at Trina's expense and Jocelyn's expense. So I'm like, we're not going to do that. I don't remember what else they said, but it was like he came there with a solid, good idea, and he was like, "Well, I'm not going to do it." But if you catch the next one, and Dex is like, "I don't know if there's going to be a next one, but we'll see what happens." Dex is pretty much just like, "Yo, listen, as long as I get paid," which, to be honest, I mean, you can't really spend that money if he's dead. So, like, seriously, you can't spend that money if he's dead. I know Michael's gonna sit there and try to do whatever it takes to bring Sonny down and probably be like, "Hey, listen, if you kill Dex, I got you." I'm like, "Damn, bro, you're almost just as bad as Sonny. Like, you're using this dude as a pawn to go after a very powerful mob boss, and you're just hoping that." I honestly tell you, the truth, when you really think about it, it's like if Dex dies, then you're just like, "Oh man, that really sucks." I mean, well, you know what he was signing up for, and now I got my dad. So, and it just cost him his life, but whatever, it's totally fine. Ava went to the hospital to sit there and check to see if Esme got admitted, and I'm just like, really? I don't know. Something about that whole scene just seemed so pointless, to be honest. Like, I just felt like that was just such a pointless scene, and her Cynthia trying to befriend Willow, and then Willow breaking down, crying, and everything like that. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't feel anything when Willow cried. I really didn't. And I'm not Cynthia saying that to be a dick. It's just like this is what happens when you sit there and try to keep a secret, and you carry all of that weight on your shoulders. And on top of that, you're pregnant. Okay? So I'm pretty sure stress is really not good for you and the unborn child. But yet, for some odd reason, she feels the need to sit there and keep this secret because, well, she got some idiotic acidine reasons to do, and she's going to keep doing it. And she got to a point where she, hugged Ava. And then Michael came in. Michael was like, "What did you do to her?" I'm like, "Bro, you might want to kind of bring that down a little bit." Michael is a very interesting character because I feel like, especially when he was in there talking to Miss Wu, oh my god, I can't wait till he talks to Miss Wu like that again. Because listen, Miss Wu is gonna sit there and get to a point. She's gonna get to a tolerance point where she's gonna sit there and put him in his place, and I really cannot wait for that. I almost feel like that's a cake moment at that point. But he was all like, "What did you do to her?" And Willow was like, "Ah, we were just talking. She really helped me out and everything like that." And then of course Ava left, and she hugged Michael and continued to, I guess, either have the strength to keep lying to him because that's what she thinks is a good idea. I have no idea. I really don't. I don't know, and I don't want to sit there and say I don't care because I do care, but I don't care right now because it's just pointless. It's pointless. It's idiotic, and she's later going to sit there and apologize, and I can't wait to sit there and start rolling my eyes during that conversation. Yeah, I feel like that's actually about it. I really do. I feel like that's about it. So with that being said, yeah, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I will see everyone in the next video.